Humanity has had numerous questions since the beginning of our existence. What happens after death? Who created the universe? Could the Mongolian army stop Prime Haru Rara? And many more. But the one question humanity keeps asking over and over is how are Erwin Smith's balls so enormous? Scientists can't explain this. Now with the channel name, you're right to assume I'm an expert when it comes to this topic, but this case, it's unlike anything I've ever seen before. It is unholy, an unexplainable phenomenon. So instead, we'll just be taking a look at the coolest character in Attack on Titan, Erwin Non-Stop Gambling Smith, and why this question even exists. Almost every single scene he's in is always dropping some cold lines or doing something crazy. He can get a chicken excited to be deep fried with a few words. This man is unreal. On an island full of Titans you have to kill, there's not a single scene where we see him kill one, yet a lot of people agree he's him. That's how you know this man's a fucking beast. He didn't swim to the egg cell, the egg swam to him. And on top of that, his head is ginormous. Season 1, capturing the female Titan. His plan to lure out the spy and the trap he set up are honestly insane. This is the first time we really see Erwin Smith and understand why he's the commander. So leading up to all this, Erwin obviously knows that the Colossal and the Armor Titans had appeared together once, and 5 years later the Colossal Titan appeared again, then it pulled a Houdini, gone without a trace, just like the first. Then he learns that Eren can transform into a Titan and can also vanish. So maybe these two Titans are also human. Besides, they look very different from the other Titans. Those guys just look like ugly bastards from hentai. And they also came in with a coordinated plan, showing signs of intelligence. And this time, when Big Red Boy kicked down the gate, the Armor Titan didn't go for the rebound. Their behaviors have changed. Their motives must have changed. They're not just destroying the walls. And the timing matched the moment Eren transformed into a Titan. So their objective most likely changed from destroying the walls to capturing Eren. So he believes that there are shifters hiding in their ranks, and the suspects are the people who saw Eren's Titan form, the people at Tross, specifically the members of the 104th Cadet Corps. And then later on, somebody murders Hanji's children, Porbin and Sani, two kind souls who I'm sure would have changed the world if it weren't for the actions of a devil. And this is where Erwin asks Eren. Erwin was ahead of the game. Everyone is still in Season 1, but man's running in the basement. He read all the books. And this action by the warriors supports his suspicion that they're not just fighting Titans, somebody is definitely fucking them in their sleep. And since they had to use ODM gear to take out the two Titans, only soldiers can do that. Now Eren has already been separated from the 104th Cadet Corps at this time and is now with the Scouts. So with this, Erwin's able to narrow the list down even further. So on the day of the branch selection ceremony, he made sure to send Eren out on a patrol with Levi and his squad. It's basically just throwing him out there, using him as bait, setting him away from the crowd to see if the enemy will attempt to capture him. And if they do take the bait, then they'll realize that somebody's missing from the ceremony. But if they don't, then they'll know that the spies are probably busy with the ceremony. Massive fucking brain. But there are still plenty of suspects, so to go even deeper, he was only scratching the cinnamon ring earlier, now he's about to shove his whole forearm up the enemy's rectum. Erwin shows up at the ceremony to persuade them to join the Survey Corps. And he tells everyone about the plan to go to the basement of Eren's house, saying the truth of the world lies there, and that Eren is going to be there. Yep, you heard it here first. First name Eren, last name Jaeger, the guy who can transform into a Titan, will be there. Now we even see Armin wondering why he revealed such important information to all these random people. But he did it to make the spies join the Scouts, because obviously they'd want to get closer to Eren, and also because they're going to the basement to learn the truth. Which the spies wouldn't want because they took out Bean and Sani, clearly trying to limit their knowledge on Titans. And for the final push to really squeeze and shit out the spy, Erwin starts spitting some very scary, truthful statistics you'd only hear on a campfire, basically telling them that this branch is serious business. You will die, horribly, limbs torn apart, and in 4 years you'll all be dust. So if that sounds awesome to you, join now, and for the first 5 people to sign up, we'll throw in an extra special offer. You'll receive an extra set of the Survey Corps uniform for your family to remember you by. So what are you waiting for? Go out there and make your parents proud for once. It's time to stop eating ass, and say it with me now, dedicate your hearts. Now after hearing all this, even the Survey Corps members are thinking about quitting. What do you mean, we're all dying in 4 years? Nope, it's a joke, it's even earlier. However, by doing this, he's able to cut down the number of suspects by a fuck ton. Now everyone remaining is a little suspicious. They're either super dedicated to fight for humanity, or suicidal, or they want to kidnap Eren. This is unreal. His brain is on fire, he's playing 5D chess while everyone else is playing tic-tac-toe. And now it's time for their expedition, the 57th expedition, the final step to lure out the spy. And every time the scouts are leaving the gate with Erwin in front of them just shouting, really brings a tear to my eye. The scouts are cool as fuck, until they all become Titan's calorie bars, but before that you can't see this and go, this is not cool. And hopefully these kids survive to the end of the story. Anyway, now we see the long scouting formation for the first time. So over here everyone thinks we're going to the basement, but Erwin got the stove on behind the scene cooking up something else. His main goal is to capture the shifter and the spy. And to do this, he gave everyone different information on Erin's location. That way if a shifter appears and they immediately run towards that location, example this one, he'll go back, see which unit received that information, and it'll lead him to the spy. Then all of a sudden, the female Titan pulls up and charges towards them, and she's coming in from the right flank. And Reiner's unit is the one that received the information that Erin's on the right flank. He's kinda basically caught here. And Annie's first appearance is fucking horrifying. She just casually runs out of nowhere moving like prime Usain Bolt with fucking rocket boosters strapped to her calf. She's going fast as fuck and she catches up to them in an instant. So the scouts try to kill her, but she just slams them straight to the ground, complete utter annihilation. And just look at her go. And the music as well, Armin saw this and instantly shat his pants. That is not an abnormal Titan. Parts of its skin are missing, boobies, and it's oddly hot. I'd even go as far as to say that I am a little bricked up right now. But that's 100% a shifter. And as he's about to get stomped, he made sure to capitalize on the situation he's in and see some Titan vagina before going out. But Annie got sidetracked, she saw him and fell into a trance for a second, got her smiling and stuff. Honestly, if Armin just locked in right then and there, he could have fixed her and brought her to their side. Then she chases after Eren into the forest. Now this forest is pretty isolated, it's not connected to anything, so Erwin ordered the others to stay in the trees around the outside, using them to distract the peer Titans, that way they don't get into the forest so they can isolate the fight with the female Titan. Meanwhile, Eren and friends are stuck in a horror movie. Her speed is a problem. If you're not an Ackerman, not even God can save you. So with Levi leading the squad, they're able to lure her to the trap Erwin and the scouts had set up. Chills. And they're able to hold the female Titan in place. They got her ass. Erwin's hunch was right. Someone did come for Eren. And to make sure his plan worked, Erwin only told a handful of people about it, specifically the scouts who'd been around before the fall of Wall Maria 5 years ago. Because if a spy were to sneak into their ranks, it would most likely be when the wall fell. Their brain is fucking braining. But then she screams, calling in the other Titans to eat her, she turns to bones, leaving nothing behind. However, Erwin sniffs something, so he tells Levi to refill his gas and blades before meeting up with his squad. He knows it's just getting started. They never saw the person inside the Titan get eaten. And he explains that when the Colossal Titan vanished, that person definitely had the ODM gear on, allowing them to escape in the steam. Otherwise, everyone would have seen a tall, lanky-ass dude running for his life back inside the wall. So he deduced that the person inside the female Titan is doing the same here, and she probably has their uniform on and is hiding in plain sight. Now Hanji gets a little confused because Eren can't do any of that, but Erwin knows that they gotta think outside the condom to beat these guys, they can't just go by the book. Besides, they can't use Eren as the standard for what a shifter can or can't do. He only just lost his shifting virginity, he damn near transformed to pick up a spoon. And then we get this really sexy scene where we see human Annie chasing after Eren and all of a sudden, she disappears. Then we cut over to Erwin, predicting that if the person inside can move, then it's most likely that they can transform more than once. Sexy ass scene. First time watching it, I was like, dear God, I have a boner. And we all know what happened after this. We don't really gotta go through the Levi squad stuff. Long story short, Levi came in, saved all of them, and brought them to safety. Then Eren also transforms. He starts fighting her, nasty uppercut, swinging it all the way from the feet, knocking out the ghost beside her. Then Annie quickly jumps back in and pulls out the forbidden legendary ego stance. And she decapitates him with her kick. Then she puts him in her mouth, Mikasa goes after her, she does a bit of damage but can't cut her nape, so then the raid boss pulls up, music kicks in, health bar pops up, and it's over for her. Levi grabs Eren and the three escape, they all retreat, make it back from the little field trip of trauma and nightmares, nothing accomplished. So Eren and Erwin get summoned to the capital, they hand Eren over, and the Survey Corps is about to be disbanded. They're just taking their tax money and wiping their asses with it. However, earlier Erwin came up with a plan to capture the female Titan. If this all fails, we're fucked. So he explains that the target is Annie Leonhardt. She's in Stoas and they're going to capture her right in the city. So if this fails, he's most likely getting hanged and Eren, good luck. Now Armin's the one who figured it out. He explains the whole thing, he provides anal-tight details on why there's a 90% chance it's Annie. But the Mikasa drifts in with the best evidence yet. Case closed, we caught her. So Armin appears from an alley offering Annie a side quest. They walk over to the underground tunnel entrance and Annie goes, yeah sure I'll go down there. In your fucking dreams. The female Titan is back, sick ass transformation and with Erwin revealing the name on top of it.
Annie Leonhardt.
Absolute cinema. A fight breaks out, Mikasa's out here doing God's work, Eren's having a mental breakdown, or just breakdown in general. These two are going crazy. Generational performance we're seeing, pulled up with a whole wombo combo. Then Eren locks in, he transforms. Erwin, stone cold face, just looks at it. In the earlier events where he set up the trap in the forest, drawing out the spy, he was going crazy with the planning. But this time in Stoas, he's going crazy with the aura farming. That seems to be his top priority in this part. So Eren socks her in the face, doing the people in the church a favor, sending them straight to God. So Annie puts her guard up, she's ready to throw hands. So the two throw hands are being thrown, massive destruction, countless casualties, mainly caused by Eren running through buildings, but we don't have to focus on that. Now we see Erwin pop off. So Nala and the military police officers have him surrounded, and he asks if he's the cause of all this mess. He said it with his whole chest. So now it's like, dear God, this man has lost his mind, we have to kill him. And Erwin goes, go ahead, but you're going to be in charge afterward. You'll have to fill my spot, and whatever you do not let the female Titan escape. Now folded immediately and lowered his gun. He doesn't have it in him like that. Erwin's too locked in. But I mean, can't really blame him. No one can do Erwin things like Erwin. The city is falling apart, two Titans popped out of nowhere throwing hands, civilians getting crushed, children losing their parents, and he looks him dead in the eye and goes, this is a massive victory. Liquid nitrogen in his balls. Then Annie beats the hair out of Eren's head, but he refuses to go down and he jumps on her and he gets on top of her. Mikasa just fell to her knees off screen. Then Annie makes a desperate attempt to escape, hardening her fingers to climb over the wall. However, Mikasa slices off her fingers from both hands, and she also goes crazy here. She lands between her eyes and tells her, Annie, Eren pounces on her behind and he punches straight through her arm and her head comes flying off. And all this leads to one of the coolest scenes in the entire series. The arm comes flying towards Erwin and the officers. They all start running away, taking cover. But Thundercock Chad Erwin fucking stands there and just looks at it flying towards him. The arm slams onto the bridge and this man doesn't even flinch. Now you can see that he slightly stepped back, but that's to distribute the weight of his massive dick evenly so the damaged bridge doesn't collapse. Unfucking real. So they captured Annie, but she crystallized herself so they won't be able to get any information from her, so the higher-ups are a little grumpy. But Erwin explains that this is a massive win. Things are finally changing. Before, they couldn't even imagine humans having the ability to transform into Titans. But now they caught one. Now it's their turn to attack. So hearing all this, they decided to keep the Survey Corps and Eren. Only fucking Erwin can convince someone that buildings collapsing, countless bodies, and complete destruction in exchange for a person in a crystal is a win. The way he speaks with so much certainty makes it impossible not to trust him. He speaks like he has the whole thing figured out, like it's from the future. He can tell me to invest in Smegma Cheese Coin and boom, done, my life savings. And now we move over to Season 2, where Erwin transcends into a Vibranium Balls deity. We saw Brain Erwin, now we get to see Fuck It We Ball Erwin. So slight jizz on what's going on. While they're busy capturing the female Titan, the other 104th Cadet Corps members are detained somewhere south on the other side of the map because the armored and colossal Titans are still around. the imposters are still there, so Erwin had them detained to make sure the female Titan was isolated and no one was coming to assist her. And he had Mika and the other elite scouts guard them, but then a bunch of Titans came toward them, so they all start running, escaping, prioritizing spreading the word that Wall Rose has been breached. The goat, Mige, goes in solo to buy time for the others to escape. He completely digs down the abnormals. Then this ugly-ass Titan Zeke squeezed out of his dick hole explodes out of nowhere. It dies a horrible, painful death. So he gets a little shocked, so he calls his horse, gets on it, and rides back to regroup with the other scouts, safe and sound. So after hearing this, the scouts move out to Ermich and they split up. Erwin and a bunch of scouts head over to Tross to meet up with Pixis, while Hanji's squad goes over to save Historia at Utgard Castle. Nanaba, Gelgar, Henning, and Line, who's kind of a banger, are there. Then Zeke once again started shitting out boulders. This piece of filth was going around terrorizing people in Season 2. This man deserves to catch a bullet to the head. So the boulder flies directly on Henning and Line's heads, but luckily Gojo teleports in and with his infinity stops the boulder from killing them. Then Nanaba runs out of gas in front of a bunch of Titans, but Yumiya realizes she's kinda hot, so she transforms, comes in to save her. Same with Gelgar, she saves him and he gets himself a nice drink. Everyone survives long enough for backup to arrive. And this sat on top of Wall Rose for a bit. Then the craziest reveal in all of anime happens. Crazy scene, and the OST is so fucking unbelievable. Listening to this shit makes me wanna fucking put my full dick in my pussy. Anytime life feels like shit, just recall the first time you witnessed this greatness. It's an instant distraction from your misery. Oh no, my pet goldfish just jumped in the toilet bowl and I accidentally flushed it down. So Reiner and Bernard start fighting the scouts. Reiner's beating Aaron's ass. He's walking up to the guy like he's the GOAT, and then he gets his ass beat. But then Blue Balls fucking slam dunks to both of them with his fat forehead, knocking everyone out, and Aaron gets kidnapped. Now after the people in Tross get the news that Aaron's gone, Erwin, the scouts, and even the military police officers ride their horses on the wall to get to them. And he immediately orders them to lower the horses down the other side of the wall, and they chase after Reiner. Now at a quick glance, this operation may seem like it's Eren focused, they have to rescue Eren. But no, it's really for Erwin to farm some edits and solidify himself as one of the most goated, irreplaceable commanders ever. So because Erwin immediately went after them, Reiner had to change his plan. They couldn't wait until sunset to start moving. So the scouts are in formation, avoiding Titans. However, this time they're surrounded, so they have to wrap around. But Erwin says no, we're brute forcing our way through. Get ready soldiers, we're spreading ass cheeks and we're going right into this shit. They can't waste any time. And Reiner immediately knew Erwin's the one who made the call, as there's only one man who's psychotic enough to charge into a horde of Titans. And this little line right here just makes him so much cooler, although it's just Reiner yapping, but it really goes to show how much of an impact he has. If their commander were anyone else, Eren's a goner, and so is humanity. Then they make it to the forest, Titans are everywhere, everyone spreads out to find Eren, Hannes is locked the fuck in. Then Ymir puts Historia in her, Reiner transforms, putting everyone on his back, and he begins running. Everyone's panicking, the situation is straight ass. But fucking Hannes comes in with the hard ass OST and he tells them to wake up and get on your horse. Hills, can't believe this is the same dude who is drunk 24/7 and pisses pants without hesitation. Now Erwin sees Reiner exiting the forest, so he tells everyone to let the Titans chase them and lure them to Reiner. This man is a fucking demon. Then everyone in the main group has an emotional scene with Barney, and on the opposite side, a complete shit show is brewing. Erwin is charging at them with a horde of Titans behind him. One of the most badass scenes in the series, and this man is locked in. Unwavering determination to get Eren back. That's the face of a man who'll push a pool door until it opens. Now I would be lying if I said I'm not a little confused on how Erwin managed to pull this off, because earlier they were at the same place. So I'm assuming he just went around the side with the Titans behind him, ran past Reiner and charged into him. I guess since Reiner's not exactly the fastest, or it's probably just because it's Erwin Smith. But yeah, this scene is cool as fuck. This is a crazy shot. So then the Titans swarm Reiner, holding him down, giving him the hug his parents never gave him. Now everyone's too stunned to make a move seeing this abomination, and John asks if this is hell. Now open your ears and listen to what this man has to say. And he advances, foot on the gas, he does not stop. Erwin has removed the brakes. They have to retrieve Eren. Even Mikasa hasn't moved. Somehow Erwin is going in to rescue Eren before Mikasa. Mankind did not believe such a feat could even be achieved. He tells them that there's no future where humanity can inhabit these lands without Eren. And we get the Most memorable line in the entire series. The amount of energy this man brought was unmatched. His presence can make the scouts hear the OST. Now after hearing all that, the soldiers have no choice but to follow along. Their bodies just started moving on their own. Then as they're charging in and Erwin's hyping up the soldiers, a Titan pops out of nowhere and kidnaps the man. Everyone's freaking out, their commander just got taken away, this guy's freaking out harder than others. However, this man just tells them to advance while he's getting eaten. It's actually unreal. No amount of words can glaze how cool this scene is. The feeling you get while watching this can't be put into words. I have never seen someone look so cool while getting eaten alive. Does Erwin even know the Titan's got his arm? And the coolest part about all this is he's just a human. No special powers, no Ackerman blood or anything, just a guy with a dream. Also, shout out to these two soldiers by the way, without them we wouldn't have gotten the most iconic speech of all time. Then Armin gets on Reiner and begins making shit up. He just starts lying. He just starts talking out of his asshole, telling Bertolt that they're doing heinous shit to Annie. Trust me, if I were you, I wouldn't want to run away right now. She's getting tortured in ways we didn't even know were possible. But obviously, we all know she's fine. The only real torture she's gonna have to deal with is the sound of Armin choking a snake during the season 3 to 4 time skip. Now this made Bertolt lose his cool, creating an opening for none other than Erwin fucking Smith. Man comes in with one arm, slashes him, freeing Eren. Now this scene, Butthole had to be clenching his asshole, because usually we only see default Erwin and Commander Erwin. This, he was thinking about pulverizing the man. He was going to reduce him to atoms with his bare fucking hands. Also, as I was rewatching the scene, this man Erwin Smith fucking sliced off Reiner's armored finger. How the fuck? What is going on? He just sliced his thumb off clean. This is getting out of hand. Maybe the Smith bloodline also has superpowers. Some people say that he went for the tiny gap in the armor at the joints, but there is still armor there. He just said fuck your armor, and he did all this with his left arm, sliced the armor, the target, and saved Eren. And to top it all off, as he falls, his horse comes in at the perfect time and catches him. Insane. Then they all start retreating, but Reiner begins throwing titans at them. He's just hurling them across the place, and one falls near Erwin and it starts running at him. Luckily, Ymir comes in to save him. Ymir was such an awesome character by the way, loved her, her character was great, and her OST is just beautiful. So Erwin falls from his horse and a scout comes in to check on him, and this is where Erwin starts farting out of his mouth. Top 3 biggest lies in Attack on Titan. No one can replace this man. In terms of intelligence, I'd say Armin's up there with him, but leadership wise, no one even comes close. Then Hannes engages the Smiling Titan, a generational rematch, Messi versus Ronaldo. Also, this historian Ymir scene went fucking hard. They did not have to go this hard on the scene, and Barricades is playing top 3 OST in the entire series. It just adds that final touch of hardness. So then Eren makes physical contact with the Titan with royal blood, so for a bit he's able to control the Titans and save everyone, and they all retreat. RIP Ymir, the kindest soul in the world, she deserved better. Then they find out that the Titans came from Rakiko village, and that Titans are actually humans. And now we unlock a new Erwin expression. Happy Erwin. First time we see him genuinely smile, Levi's shitting his pants is fearing for his life. Now in season 3, Erwin goes even crazier. So the government freezes all the Survey Corps activities because Rod Race wants him to hand Eren and Historia over after finding out he has the Founding Titan, and Rod's spine slipped out of his anus at some point in his life, so he needs Historia to be the one to inherit the Founding Titan. And they also killed Pastor Nick for working with the scouts. So Eren and Historia get captured, Levi shakes hands with Demo Reeves, they grab 2 members from the 1st Interior Squad, torture them, find out Rod Race is a real royal family and the king right now is a fraud. Then Demo gets assassinated by Kenny. Now Erwin learns about all this and he tells Pixis, we're overthrowing the government, these guys can eat my asshole, they are extremely corrupt. But then the Interior Military Police frame him for the murder of Demo Reeves, saying, he's the mastermind behind this whole scheme. He used Demo Reeves to stage a kidnapping to keep Eren to himself. And once he used the poor man, they slit his throat to silence him. He used Demo Reeves like a puppet. He had all his greasy little fingers up inside of him. Ah yes, Erwin, the smart, cold, calculating commander, decided to murder him and just leave his body out there for everyone to find. Now that is unmatched intelligence. so he's punished for prioritizing one's own gain over the safety of humanity. But before he gets taken away, he made sure to tell the family that he'll find whoever did this and he'll avenge him.
思いはついえた。この無念、私が必ず。
And he said it with such conviction that they probably believe he isn't the actual killer. Or maybe they just think he's schizophrenic. And then he gets locked up. They brought him to the capital, and they tied this man up like he's a super soldier, like he's gonna regrow his arms, snap the ropes, and just go full Doom Slayer on their asses. So he tells the nobles they need to retake Wall Maria, otherwise everyone's fucked. They'll all suffer from food shortages, sparking a civil war. So they need the scouts. But they say, nope, we're not here to talk about that. You violated Clause 6 of the Charter of Humanity. So they pretend to discuss with the king, who's not all there. The guy hasn't moved for the past 3 episodes. He's just been talking to unicorns and having tea parties. And so they came to the conclusion that they'll hang him. And Erwin smiles as he gets up. He knows these guys definitely don't give a shit about the people and only care about themselves. And then Anka bursts through the door reporting that Walrose has been breached. They came through both gates of Kareness district. Pixis immediately puts on his Oscar-winning performance, telling everyone to focus on evacuating the people safely to Walshina. Now the nobles immediately filled their diapers with shit. They instantly shut that order down. So now it's freaking out because Erwin talked to him earlier and he revealed that his family lives around the eastern part of Walrose. But the nobles say, fuck him, the government can't lose control. So now puts on his big boy pants and he says, no, the gates will remain open. Then Zachary teleports in with his soldiers and reveals that the whole thing was a setup. You got caught, you guys are a bunch of fucking filthy frauds, you don't care about the people. And Erwin pulls a reverse card on them saying that the decision they just made violates Clause 6 of the Charter of Humanity. They just prioritized their own gain over the safety of humanity. And they also installed some random dude's grandpa as king. That's pretty fucking illegal. Checkmate, fuck them right in the ass. But yeah, so just like that, they successfully overthrow the government. Meanwhile, Levi and friends are fighting off Kenny and friends. This girl is crazy hard, by the way, too bad she kinda just breeds. And the only time we ever really find out what her name is when the cave's collapsing on her. Rod gets flipped over by Storia, his spine snapped in half, he transforms into a giant titan, and he approaches Orvut. So they ask, Commander Erwin, what do we do? How do we evacuate all the citizens in such a short time? Stone Cold Facey looks at him and he goes, we won't evacuate.
何
I have never heard a man sound more confused in my entire life. Erwin has evolved. He's no longer just risking the lives of soldiers, he's also now risking the lives of the civilians. He's using the people in the district as bait, and once Rod's Titan arrives, they'll fucking annihilate it. Hopefully. They set up the cannons, and it does fuck all. It's impossible to take it out. It's more possible to knock down a building by blowing on it. But Erwin came prepared with a bunch of gunpowder, and he'll have Eren shove it in its mouth. And this time, he's gambling on the fact that it doesn't have a mouth. And he's right. Erwin just keeps getting away with it. He keeps pulling the lever and every single time is met with nothing but jackpots. So then multiple chunks of its flesh scatter all over the place, and once again, Barricades is playing goated OST.
これほどの巨体でも本体は縦1メートル
Erwin Smith coming in with the great voiceover. Everyone's flying around, grappling onto the pieces of flesh, the Ackermans are going crazy. And Historia having another sexy, elegant ODM gear scene. We may not see many from her, but when we do, it's a line of cocaine straight to the brain. Just kidding, I wouldn't know what that feels like, I don't do drugs. So Historia kills her father and lands directly in front of a crowd, so they all accept her as queen, she's from the true royal family and just saved the district. And now it's time to retake Wall Maria. Things are looking real hopeful, everyone's smiling, the scouts have done big things, people are starting to love them, and they're about to learn the truth of the world. Things couldn't get any better. Now Levi tries to stop Erwin from going, as he can't do much in combat with one arm, but he says no. Gamble. I gotta gamble it all, I gotta get to that basement. And as they're getting ready, lowering the horses to the other side of the wall, for the first time ever, the people are excited. Tears in my eyeballs. Even Erwin's excited about the send-off. The scouts are finally getting the respect they deserve. Chills every time. Erwin giving the command to commence the operation to retake Wall Maria. Everyone got on their horses, and we get another boner-inducing scene of the scouts heading out on their operation for one last time.
進め!
And so they all make it to Shiganshina, and the entrance scene is also insane. The scouts switching to their ODM gear, flying over the wall, and it transitions to Erwin explaining how they'll execute this operation. This scene is too clean. It's fucking nice. The scouts are the coolest people in the entire series, because what do you mean your plan to fight Titans is to swing around with the world's most difficult gear to operate and carry blades? Then Erwin, with one arm, gets on top of the wall through sheer willpower, and he has everyone cover their faces so the enemy can't identify Eren. And so he plugged the wall and is heading for the inner gate. However, Armin found a pot, so he reports it to Erwin that it's completely cool, and just with this tiny information, he says we gotta be on our toes. The enemy had plenty of time to set up an ambush, because if they had noticed their approach by sound or sight, they'd have 2 minutes to react, and a pot wouldn't cool in 2 minutes. So they immediately prioritized locating the enemy. He orders the scouts to follow Armin's commands, and after not finding them, Armin tells them to search the wall, inside the wall. Everyone's a little confused, and when asked how he came to this conclusion, he said, it's just a hunch. Everyone's freaking out. What do you mean it's just a hunch? We got a wall to see, we got Titans to kill, we can't just be going off hunches. But Erwin hears hunches and he got off. He says, gambling? Did I hear that right? I'm in. The kid's onto something. And so, they find Reiner and bolts of lightning strike behind them, and Zeke shows up with a bunch of friends who were hiding underground earlier. Absolute cinema of a scene. Zeke blocks the gate and Erwin immediately knows what their plan is. They're after the horses. They're trying to cut off their only means of escape. And at one glance at the cart Titan, he also knows instantly that that's a shifter and it's their scout. And he goes AFK for a bit, the cogs in his head start spinning, he's evaluating the situation, multiple scenarios playing in his head, Pythagorean theorem, a squared plus b squared equals c squared, and he has it all figured out. He tells most of them to protect the horses, while Levi and Hanji's squads deal with the armored titan. Then Reiner reaches the top of the wall, and we see Erwin just standing there, straight up showing off his massive erect whale cock, just staring at him. It is unreal. Erwin has balls in his balls. There is no reason for him to stand there and just stare at him, other than to show Reiner that you're not the Titan here, you're just a boy, and this is my island. Or my home, I should say. He even took off his hood and continued to stand there menacingly, showing him that the real armored Titan is his nutsack. He didn't move a single muscle. And so then Eren transforms behind him, and Reiner took the bait. The gambling paid off. Thankfully, Reiner didn't just fucking body slam the horses, and he was able to realize that Eren could just run away. And then, Bertotohuva nukes the place, and after assessing the situation, seeing rocks crushing their hopes and dreams, all the scouts are dying, Erwin comes down and he talks to Levi. He asks Levi what he would do in this situation. So he tries to come up with something, saying to wake Eren up, have the important people get on him, and run, while he goes in on the Beast Titan and draws him away. No, that won't work. You'll be dead before you can even get close to him. It's impossible. Yeah, you're right. To be honest, we might as well just bury ourselves right now. But this is Erwin Smith we're talking about. This is the man born with testicles so massive the doctor thought he was delivering triplets. He always has a card to play. And the way he tells Levi that he has a plan is so unnecessarily cool.
帰れないとすら思っている。ああ、反撃の手立てが何もなければな。
And the music cuts. Absolute cinema. Everyone's gonna die, it's completely over, we have zero chance, we're all dead. Except, we do have a chance because I am here. However, this will result in him and the new recruits giving up their lives. Now this is where the situation gets rough for Erwin, because up until now, his dream aligned with the future of humanity, proving his father's theory, getting to the basement. That dream, even though it's a selfish desire, will still help humanity. They're both on the same path. However, that path has split. Now he has to make a decision, the basement or humanity. And that's when he opens up to Levi, explaining that he only really cares about the basement. Levi's completely caught with his pants down. What do you mean you care about the basement? Rocks are turning people to ashes, fuck the basement. So he explains the whole thing about his dream and how it's so close, it's just right at his tip. But he can't just abandon all the comrades he sacrificed. He feels tremendous guilt for leading them to their deaths. He was throwing out these empty words, telling them to give their hearts to humanity. He fooled all of them, and even himself, saying it's all for humanity. And so he became paralyzed in the face of the two decisions. In the end, he's also human. He's not some emotionless maniac. There's only so much blood one man can have on his hands before he breaks. So that's when Levi makes the decision for him.
俺は選ぶぞ。夢を諦めて死んでくれ。
Erwin doesn't have to make decisions anymore, finally lifting the burden he was carrying all this time, freeing him from his obsession with his dream and his selfish desire. which is why we see him smile. He's been given a shot at redemption to fight for humanity and become the commander of the Survey Corps. Then he drops the hard-ass speech. You can watch it in sub, dub, it doesn't fucking matter. At the end, we're all filled with the urge to get on a horse and ride towards that piece of shit. They all go crazy. Sounds extremely powerful every time I listen to it. Goosebumps. And this insanely beautiful Levi shot as well. That's fucking awesome.
It was perfect.
And can I just say, among all the shifters from Marley that came to Parody, Zeke has to be the biggest fucking criminal of all time. Reiner and Bertolt, those two are probably the most forgivable. They've done some bad stuff, yes, but, they're not entirely evil people. And following them is Annie. She's kinda hard to forgive. The way she spun that scout around is quite diabolical. She killed a bunch of people, seemed like she was enjoying herself a little bit in some of those kills. Overall, she is pretty bad, can't deny that, but not the absolute worst. She did feel real horrible for killing Marco. But this Zeke giant monkey man is unacceptable. This guy has to be put on Zachary's chair. The way he was throwing those rocks, he was having way too much fun. Oh, but his parents treated him badly. He was psychologically abused. He just wanted to play catch. Well, fuck his catch. He's seeing points pop up as he kills those scouts, scores, his farming stats. Perfect gamer. He glances to the bottom right corner and he's seeing achievement unlocked. This guy deserves all the torturing, and multiply that by 100, and we send him to hell and have him rot there for eternity. Anyway, so in his final moments, Erwin became the selfless leader who fought and died for humanity just like his comrades. After sacrificing many lives for his dream, he's able to sacrifice his dream for humanity. I read that from somewhere and that sounded pretty hard. But yeah, he died as a selfless commander, a hero everyone sees him as, not the selfish commander he calls himself. Which I don't even think is that selfish. He did go in and lose an arm. Yes, he was fighting for his dream and not really for humanity, but it's benefiting both. So yeah, he's finally free. And then Flock carries Erwin's body over and Levi chooses to revive Erwin. But as Levi is about to inject him with the serum, Erwin raises his hand and he dreams of his younger self back when he was still a kid in class, and he mumbles the same question he asked his father. In this moment, Erwin recalls the moment with his father when he was happiest. The true Erwin is a curious child with the desire to learn the truth about the world. But he was enslaved to this curiosity, and it forced him to become this devil, carrying all the burden himself. So seeing this, Levi realizes that Erwin, even until now, is still chained to his dream. And he recalls Erwin thanking him when he was told to give up on his dream and die.
Levi, arigato.
Almost like he's been waiting for someone to tell him that. So as long as he lives, he won't be free. Only in death can he find liberation. And he gave the injection to Armin. In the end, Levi chose to save Erwin. His emotions got the better of him, just as Flock said. He picked Erwin over what's best for humanity. Yes, Armin's pretty good, he clutched up multiple times, but if we're being honest, Erwin's the better choice. And I saw some people say that Levi chose to save Armin because his dream went beyond the basement, beyond the walls, unlike Erwin who only cared about the basement, and after learning the truth, he would have lost all motivation and just stopped caring. Which I think is absurd if he goes, yeah, I think it's over, yeah, I mean, we can attack Marley, we don't attack, I don't really care, like, that's not gonna happen. However, the guilt of all the dead comrades will crush him, but he'll keep moving forward, continuing to suffer. Now, maybe the dream thing played a little part, but even Levi said it himself, he didn't choose to save Armin. He chose this to be the place Erwin dies. That's how I think, but I read somewhere that in the guidebooks, Isayama explained this whole situation multiple times, so if anyone has any information on that, let me know in the comments. Cause I don't think it's as simple as Armin's dream is better, Erwin doesn't know what he's going to do after, he's going to become a bum. Armin also never explained what he's going to do after he sees the sea. You know, what if he just starts swimming around and does fuck all? They're all the same, it's the same shit. But yeah, that is the end of a crazy good character. I could shed a tear. Personally, I would have loved to see more Erwin. I mean, Erwin compared to Armin, minimal value. I mean, look at him in his official post compared to the Chad Erwin. He just fucking shits all over him, it's not even close, and that post is not doing him any favors, I'll tell you that much. But no, Armin did have some really good moments. This footage may seem like a troll because he's getting burnt alive, but it takes some massive real balls to hold on to that. Gotta respect him for it. But yeah, right, that's it.